Testing, testing. Looks like we're live. What up, what up? Okay. It looks like we're good. Taylor, how's it going, man? Definitely got some very unexpected positive news earlier today in terms of CPI. So I'm pretty excited to jump into that. Daniel, good to have you. Always nice to see you here early, man. If you're getting here early, guys, you know what to do. Just drop a like on the stream, exit out of the chat real quick, do me a favor and help me out. Made it before Mickle. Nice job, Tid. Murdoch, good to have you, man. Good to have you. Nathan, what up, bro? Um, Definitely some interesting inflation news to get into. I think it's going to be very bullish for the market overall. This is something we talked about on the channel yesterday, and to be honest, it came in better than I was expecting. So it's really nice to see that. Let's just wait for some people to roll in here. Strong Mountain, good to see you. Dave Nelson, Miguel, Silver Days, always here early. Love to see you here, Silver Days. PJ, Lucas, Mark, good to see you, man. Always great to have you here. 65 people here already, guys. Make sure as soon as you get in the stream, you smash that like button. It's going to make sure that everyone who didn't see the stream pop up is going to get that notification. It's going to show up on their feed. All of you guys doing that is super, super, super helpful. And hey, if you're watching on X, make sure to drop the stream a retweet. Always helps. Let's jump into some of the market things I've been watching. I want to start off with inflation because that was a very nice kind of surprise. So let's get over to Trading View real quick. And let's take a look at what we're looking at on CPI. We'll definitely do the dollar index as well. Right after inflation, we'll take a look at that. As you guys have probably realized by now, the macro picture is really controlling the market at the moment. So that's why we have to make sure we're constantly taking a look at what's happening with inflation, what's happening with the market. This is inflation on a logarithmic scale. I think this chart's pretty cool. It looks so broken, but I always have XRP on the log scale. So whenever I pull up inflation, it starts on the log scale. So now we can just zoom all the way back in. I guess that might have been a mistake. Eventually we'll get there. All right. Here we go. So I don't think this chart is updated yet. Chadwick, appreciate the gifted membership. Crypto Clay got a gifted membership the other day, which is super cool because he's been waiting to join that member spot. So you got that gifted membership from you, I believe, which is is really cool. I love those gifted memberships, man. I love those gifted memberships. Okay, so it looks like this is already updated. And guys, the good news about what's happening on CPI right now, and we talked about this yesterday, is we were really worried that CPI was going to go exponential and pull back out of this historical zone. I think a lot of people forget that despite the fact that inflation is high, you know, if we take a look at the entire history of the United States, I think it's easy to see, like, it's not that high in comparison to history. Is it high? Are these numbers manipulated? 100%. But as investors, we have to play the manipulated game. We have to play with the manipulated data. And based on the data we are being presented, we are kind of within this 100-year historical average. Let me just take a look at something real quick. I want to get the live stream going. Monitor the likes on the stream. 40 likes, guys. Let's try to get it to 100 likes. Let's get this thing popping off nice and early, especially with the CPI data, because we're getting into this early, and I think it's important that everyone sees it. Halls Balls, good to see you. Shelly, great to have you. RPM, good to see you here, man. Darren Naples, Brian. So, guys, what we can see right here is CPI is really sitting within this 100-year average right now. And the thing we were really worried about and what we were watching closely today was for if inflation was going to really start reaccelerating and pull out of this range. It looks like what's happening instead, though, is we are getting some mediation. It looks like it's kind of range bound in this area. And we're going to hope that over the next couple months, we can make this push downward outside of this average. If we can get into the 2% range, we're going to be looking really good. Taylor says you can hear the money printers warming up. I completely agree, Taylor. That's where I'm sitting. It's still a little early, right? The data we got today was more of like, oh, it's not bad data, so we'll take that as a win. It wasn't bad data. It was very in line. It showed that there wasn't a reacceleration, but we really just want to see this finishing blow right here to the CPI. If this can come down, what we're going to see is the Federal Reserve, which used 5% rates to clamp down this right here. That's why we have high interest rates. The Federal Reserve wanted to get rid of this peak right here. The Federal Reserve, if we can get inflation down to here, is going to likely be able to drop interest rates back down to a more normalized level, say 2%. This is going to make it so people can come out of cash and back into the market. People right now are getting this 5% by holding dollars. But if they now are only getting 2% for holding dollars, likely many of those people are going to need to reinvest that money and get yield elsewhere. That is why low interest rates are very good for the market. That is why CPI needs to come down, because these high interest rates have been holding us back. So overall, really good sign earlier today just to see that inflation not accelerating. We want to see it continue to come down, but we were worried yesterday based on some bad PPI data, producer price index, that this number might be reaccelerating. It doesn't look like it is. And to be completely honest with you, there's actually a lot of things going on right now that make me think that likely what has been holding this up is lagging data, and that lagging data should come in lower over the next couple months to year to really bring this downward. We'll take a look at what's happening on the dollar in a second. I want to take a quick look at the comments. Sean says, if anyone at all is watching on YouTube, simply hit the X and give Mikkel a thumbs up. He continues to speak and you can listen to him, but it's going to take you 3 seconds max to support him. Sean, I really appreciate that, man. I know it's a little convoluted sometimes actually figuring out where to like the stream, but guys, if you just exit out of the chat, it's not going to mess anything up. And it really helps more and more people get to the channel. Overall, the goal is to get as many people in here as possible, new people every single day, be able to educate them on XRP and hopefully bring them along for the journey. So that's the real goal here. And you guys all play a critical part in that. You guys help raise awareness for the streams. You guys liking the stream gets more people here. And you guys just producing a positive environment in the chat, helping educate each other and learn from each other are things that is just going to make the XRP community stronger over the long run. And I just want you guys to know how important of a part you play in really creating all of this. So guys, as we talked about earlier, and I'm just going to summarize this quick one more time for the people who are just popping in because I think it's important. Right now, we essentially have inflation. Oh, XP Market, man, thank you so much. XP Market just gifted 5 Mikkel subscribers. Guys, it's so cool to see more and more people joining that. That's a part of this channel. I really do plan on ramping up more and more in the future. Right now, we're kind of at the stage where we're still trying to pull more people in, get more people in that membership tier. And then once it reaches a certain level, right, it might be most of the live streams end up being in that member only section. We'll have to see how things go, but I really do appreciate XP Market for continuing to help bring more people into that tier. And guys, make sure to drop a thank you to XP Market. I always say, I try to say it every time on the channel, just because XP Market is probably my favorite project on the XRP ledger right now, outside of Ripple. Just drop a bookmark on their tab, right? Or just bookmark their tab. This is the best place to watch what's happening on the XRP ledger, second to none. This is what I use on a daily basis to make sure that I'm monitoring what's happening in the automated market makers, what happens in token ranking, what's happening in dApps. And guys, it's all in one place for you, so you don't have to look for it. They cover everything. They're innovating quickly. So I always like to shout them out because it's one of the tools I use every day, and it's completely free, right? It's a completely free tool. All you have to do is go click on it, go check it out, and that's what's so awesome. Back to the inflation data, what we can see is inflation is trending in this historical average. It really is. And the data we got today shows that we're not really seeing that reacceleration. We're more seeing a drop down in the numbers. Now, it's not the big drop we're looking for. We want a bigger drop in the future, but nevertheless, it's good to at least see that we're not pushing up higher. This is likely why this morning, at least in the equity market, we actually saw some excitement, which was very, very good. I think that's why Bitcoin rallied. That's why crypto rallied. This is ultimately likely going to help us get Fed rate cuts in the future. I know a lot of people wanted to see the dollar, so we'll move over there. It's important to understand that the dollar is really The dollar and yields are really kind of one and the same here. They're going to move together. They're going to build off each other. So we'll take, big drop on the dollar. I know some people were talking about that. Guys, I didn't even look at this morning. I've been working on a lot of other stuff this morning, but it's always cool, right? When I go on a rant about something and it's actually playing out in the market and something's rather than something completely different happening. It'd be kind of funny if I just did this whole spiel about how lower rates were good for the dollar coming down, and then I walked over here and the dollar was pumping to the moon, right? That would have been a tough look, but it looks like it's happening just as we expected. And guys, I always try to make it clear on the channel, right? We're not looking at magic lines here. I'm not saying that these magic lines are dictating what happens to the dollar over the next couple of years. We're looking at these lines to show a general trend, but then looking to see what is the actual policy in place, what are the actual things happening on a fundamental aspect that can help add some context to what was going to happen. And we'll jump into that in a second once I delete some of this stuff. And just for those of you guys who are wondering, who are more cryptocurrency focused, always understand that the cryptocurrency market as a nascent asset class is really pulled in the short term about this macro policy. Over the long term, I believe cryptocurrency is going to have so much inflow that things like macro aren't going to have a massive impact on the market, right? If BlackRock was to step into some of these projects and start providing liquidity, well, the amount of liquidity BlackRock's going to be able to provide to some of these products is going to far outweigh what is already invested there. And therefore, the difference between a 5% and a 2% yield is minuscule when you're talking about trillions of dollars flowing into the market. But either way, in the short term, there's no doubt in my mind that these macro things are important. And as we're kind of in a slow time for developments in cryptocurrency, for big partnerships with the United States trying to clamp down on institutions actually utilizing this stuff, this is where macro is going to have a little more of an influence. So let's take a look at what's happening on the dollar chart real quick. Narrate it real quick. Like I said, these are not magic lines, guys. I'm not making any kind of predictions that the dollar is going to fall because I drew two random horizontal lines on this chart, right? Super important to understand. But right here, we had record loose monetary policy. We had record inflation. You guys feel it in your daily lives. Your purchasing power has plummeted. And because of that, it's weird to see the dollar at such a historically high rate. So it's probably asking the question, hey, if my purchasing power is dropping, if we've seen inflation at record levels, why do we have the dollar at such a high place? Ed, great to see you, man. Always love having you in here. Ed, we're just jumping into some macro policy, dollar, and inflation right now, just to give some basis for what could be around the corner for the cryptocurrency market. So real quick, what we saw here was record debasement of the dollar, but the dollar's still high. So people always ask the question, if there's record debasement of the dollar, why is the dollar so high? Well, right now, to try to actually get rid of the inflation, the Federal Reserve is offering 5% interest rates. So despite the fact that people's dollars are being devalued at record paces, people are saying, well, if I could just hold my dollars and get 5%, that's not too bad. What I think we're likely going to see is as inflation goes away, as we looked at previously, we're likely going to see the Federal Reserve drop this interest rate from 5% to around 2%. Who knows how low it's going to go, but ultimately then you are not only being devalued on your dollar, you're not making a yield. And that's where I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we see the dollar start trending back down to some of these lower ranges. And that's how you kind of take a chart that has a clear trend like we see here and apply some fundamental thinking to exactly what's actually going to impact this over the long run. I always think it's important, right, that fundamentals drive most of your thesis, but then if you can also have some kind of macro view on what's happening from some of these lines, some of these trends, you can kind of help create the narrative there. Overall, it's all just a guessing game. Who knows what's going to happen, but I think right here, I feel pretty confident that this is a high likelihood for what we'll see. Let me take a look at the questions real quick. Crypto Clay says he was welding, listening to Good Morning Crypto. Awesome. Yeah, Good Morning Crypto, guys. They're awesome, man. They're awesome. I love those guys. I had the chance to meet Abs in person in Vegas. He is so cool. Me and Abs were like, we just instantly connected. We were two of the youngest people at XRP Vegas. Me and him just getting to talk to each other about our journey, about our lives, about our situations was really, really cool. I clicked with him instantaneously. And then Johnny over there, man, he cracks me up. He cracks me up. I will be on the Good Morning Crypto show pretty soon in the future. Still settling into my new job right now, so trying to focus on that. Also trying to focus on some other stuff in terms of the YouTube channel. But hopefully pretty soon I'll be over on the Good Morning Crypto show. I think those guys are killing it. I love what they're doing. And I want to be there to help support some of the stuff they're doing. JB Heavy Equipment Services, great to see you, man. And I will, guys, say real quick, guys, let's see what we're at on likes on the stream. 115. Let's see if we can get that close to 200. We got 281 people in here. Let's see if we can get up to 200 likes on the stream. You know, I don't like to say it constantly, but it helps. It gets more people in here, gets people educated on XRP who don't know about XRP. So we want to keep that going. And also, guys, if you constantly find yourself showing up late to the live streams and you find yourself wondering what happened earlier, you don't want to watch it back. Well, the easiest thing you can do is just subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell notification button. Those are going to make sure that you get notified instantaneously as soon as I go live. So that way you don't jump in here late. Why can't you hear? Can't wait to hear it. Okay, that's good. I read that backwards. I heard can't hear it. I was like, oh no, did I lose audio? All right. Does anyone have any more questions on the dollar or inflation? If not, I know I probably missed a ton of questions here early on. Linda, good to see you. Let me cover your question real quick. Mikkel, my bank card expired, so got booted out of the membership. I got a new card, but can't find the place to join again. Okay, in the description of the video, there should be a join access to channel perks. So if you can find the description of the video and click on that, it should be right there. It should be right there. There should be a link in the description of this video. It should be the only link. So take a look there, and then if you can't find it there, we'll figure out something else. But Linda, I appreciate you so much. 6-8 was a great interview with Linda P. Jones yesterday. I'll have to check that out. 6-8J is like my big brother, man. That guy is awesome. I did one interview with him, and I had never met him before. It was just so natural. Talking to him was so cool. He's a very, very good interviewer. I think he's a rising star in this community. And there's certain people, right? Like, I'm not a great interviewer. It's not really my thing. I like producing the content. I like getting interviewed. I don't love interviewing because I like talking so much. Whenever I try to do an interview, I just end up talking the entire time. So 6-8J is such a good listener, man. He has the best questions. He kind of drives you into different things that he wants you to get into. He does a great job of doing follow-up questions. So I think he's killing it. Oh, he's on Good Morning Crypto. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, Roger, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, Jay's a great guy. I got to hang out with him in Vegas as well. So much fun, man. So much fun. It's such a genuine dude, too. I'm not going to lie, guys. One of the things I was shocked about in Vegas was just how cool and genuine everyone was. It was like everyone was just there to get to know each other. It's like everyone looked each other in the eyes. Everyone was shaking people's hand. Everyone was super, super, super positive, complimentary. It was really cool to see. And people like 6AJ were some of the people, him and Abs, who are some of my favorite meets, at least when it comes down to other influencers, right? So it's always funny getting to meet other people who also produce content. The cool thing about all these guys is like everyone's so supportive of each other, right? It's not like some big competition. It's not like, oh, Good Morning Crypto streaming right now. Like, oh, I can't believe those guys, right? All of us, like, we just want to work together to really bring this community as close together as possible and really bring we the people. Moderators, ask Mikkel why isn't he talking about XRP being delisted from Binance? Oh, because it was only one Binance product with a certain pair. It's only one Binance product with a certain pair. Binance isn't delisting XRP. They're delisting it from a multi-funded margin account against True USD, I believe. Look, to me, this just looks like maybe no one was using that product and therefore why have it? I don't know how many people are using that specific trade on Binance. Guys, they might have just been funding the account and taking a loss and want to clean it up. So XRP is not off Binance. XRP is on Binance. It was in a multi-asset margin account. It was delisted against a pair. So, stuff like that, I just think it's important to realize that there's a lot of context to it normally. And if XRP's price didn't react when that happened, which it didn't, then it's probably not big news. A lot of the news articles like Cointelegraph and stuff are going to try to blow it out of proportion. They're going to try to make it seem like, oh, XRP delisted from every exchange on earth. Meanwhile, it's delisted from a random product that not that many people were using. H-Bar 109, William Whitmore, great to see you, man, and appreciate the price updates as always. Guys, just so you know, back when I used to do the live streams only in the car, it wasn't that long ago, so I'm sure a lot of you guys are here from that, and probably most of you. William Whitmore was always coming in and providing the price updates because I only had one phone, so I had no idea what was happening in the market throughout my entire live stream. I was sitting there relying on William Whitmore to throw the price updates, so OG of the live streams right there, and really appreciate everything he did in the early days to help facilitate some of the technical barriers I was facing. Let's take a quick look at XRP. Looks like we got a mini pump going on here. Yeah, that's not bad to see. That's not bad to see at all. Looks like we're getting some momentum here. It looks like the market's starting to wake up to the fact that we did get good inflation data. Over the long term, we're still range bound. There's no doubt about it, but it's always good to see us pulling off this bottom support line. You know, before we were talking about on the DXY, there's no magic lines, but these are pretty two crazy lines. Like, these are two pretty crazy lines. You know, why every single time XRP comes down to this thing, is it bouncing up? Why is it getting rejected here? Sorry. All right. Let's make sure I am talking about a chart that you guys can actually see. Back to this price chart. We can take a look that XRP is having a nice little pump right now, kind of pulling back off this bottom support line, just back into this no man's land, I believe. I really do believe we kind of just trade sideways in here until we get the decision. And hopefully that decision is that piece of volatility we have needed to break through this mega resistance above us and really skyrocket out of here. Mikkel, have you seen how manipulated the PEEP and meme coin volume is? Kostya pointed out yesterday, all in USDT and all on Binance. It's like a cabal trying to funnel people in. You know, Taylor, to be completely honest with you, I have not seen this, and I'm going to have to do more research on it. I think that data is going to be very interesting. Here's my thing. And before I answer this, let me just address this real quick. Brian says only 146 likes on the chat, but 287 people listening. Guys, if you're listening, would really appreciate you just exiting out of the stream, and it should provide you a very easy way to actually drop a like on the stream. It's really going to help me out so much. I hate to constantly bring it up, but it really does make a huge difference whenever I say it. People start liking the stream. So I really haven't looked into how manipulated the volume is on a lot of these meme coins. I have always thought that they were heavily manipulated, and a lot of it was just people funneling other people to eventually dump their bags on them. Here's what I have to say about it. For me, it's always been my assumption that something like this is happening. I've never actually taken the time to research on it just because, you know, I already don't think a lot of these things are investable. I'm already not interested in allocating my resources to a lot of these meme coins. So for me, right, I would rather spend time researching the investments I want to make rather than the investments I've kind of already siloed. But I am not surprised at all that that data is coming out. Look, if you're starting up a meme coin, especially with some of the pre-sales these things have done, you're kind of just admitting that you're willing to do anything possible to create price appreciation. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that those same people who are willing to blatantly break securities laws with doing a pre-sale are also willing to manipulate data on Binance and use different tactics to pump the price of the token. Ultimately, I think we all know where this leads. Whether or not regulators put a stop to it, whether or not some projects get held accountable and everyone goes running from these projects and disappears, whether or not the ultimate unsustainability of pumping these products purely for price appreciation and not based on actually utility of them being used, right? Whether it's one of these things that ultimately take these things down, I think there's just a lot of things to be concerned about in this space. If your goal is just to trade these things and try to jump on some waves of the price skyrocketing and quickly getting some price appreciation, ultimately to move that into another asset, look, man, we all gamble, right? When football season comes around, I'll be doing fantasy football. I'll be gambling some money on that. We all like to gamble. And if your thing is gambling on meme coins, I don't want you to think I'm crapping on you because that's what you like to do. I just don't see it from an investable thesis. For me, you guys probably know everything I do is long-term investments. Everything I do is likely over the next 5 to 10 years. It's all about how do I not sell my assets? How do I compound those assets? How do I take loans against those assets? How do I create yield all those assets? How do I put these assets in trusts and LLCs to make sure that when the time comes to liquidate, I'm being as tax efficient as possible. I'm moving them out of my possession so they're in the possession of a trust that doesn't have a legal entity that can be attacked. all these different things, right? I'm a little less focused on, hey, how do I invest in this next meme coin that could go up 1,000% and then drop? So, you know, you can only focus on so many areas, and I'm pretty confident that over the long run, the focus area we're on is going to win out. But, you know, you just got to pick your poison in this space. And some people go more the gambling degen route. For me, I put a little more of a traditional spin on it. Let's take a look at what we got here. I wondered that. Thanks, Crypto Clay. I followed Mickle mainly, just popped up and watched it when I seen he had nothing to say. As soon as oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Vols, Crypto Clay, Vols, the flare drop is soon. I thought the flare drop already happened. Did I miss that? Same Cabal, Rand Nooner, and the XR. Yeah, Rand Nooner. Yeah, dude, I don't understand Rand. Rand has a lot of money. If I was Rand's lawyer, I would be like, dude, why are you launching a meme coin? Maybe he doesn't have that much money. Maybe he's losing all his money investing. I don't know, but weird decision. What's on Uphold on the 20th? What's on Uphold on the 20th? I didn't receive mail in the new town I live, and Uphold doesn't want to verify my address, but I can't because the town I live does not deliver mail, and Uphold doesn't allow a PO box, which is lame. Oh, we the people. That's unfortunate. I would just keep reaching out and see if you can escalate what you're dealing with. What I've found is typically if you just tell people like, hey, send this to your manager, then typically they are a lot more willing to fix your problems. Uphold is very good about working with people in the most part, but sometimes you can get a bad employee who's just being lazy. So just see if you can escalate that. I wouldn't be surprised if Uphold can figure something out for you. I would just keep on it. And if you have to ask for it to be escalated, ask for it to be escalated. Flare airdrop 20th on Uphold the flare airdrop happens. Okay, cool. Also, guys, it looks like yield's going to be coming to Uphold as well, which is very exciting. Yield for XRP. I think they're going to be creating that yield, and this is just wild speculation. I think they're going to be creating that yield on XRP by actually loaning your XRP to ODL. So very cool. If the dollar is going away, what will the value of XRP be based on? Red Wave, I don't want to change your question, but look, the dollar ain't going away, man. The dollar ain't going away. The physical dollar might be going away, but the digital dollar isn't. And how do I know the digital dollar ain't going away? Well, let's just go to CoinMarketCap real quick and take a look at what's going on. We have the largest stable coin on earth. Tether is $1 pegged to the United States dollar. And then we have the next biggest stablecoin, USDC, pegged to $1. We have Ripple releasing their stablecoin pegged to $1. We have DAI. What's this called again? This is a big one. It's pegged to $1. Look, all the stable coins are pegged to $1. So the physical dollar might be going away, but the representations of dollars, even in the new system, are not going away. It's just a theoretical construct, right? It's just a theoretical construct. I don't think we're going to move away from the dollar. The dollar might lose dominance. Very possible. The dollar loses dominance over time. And in fact, we were actually talking about that specifically earlier in this video, right? We were talking about the dollar losing a ton of dominance and maybe even coming down to this bottom range. But it doesn't mean the dollar is going away. I think it's always going to be a transaction vehicle. I think it's always going to be used as a representation for the United States economy. If the dollar was to go away, I think America would have been taken over by some other nation. I think America would cease to exist in that case. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to see the dollar. Who knows? Maybe it's a new dollar with a new backing, but I still call that a dollar. So XRP is always going to, in my opinion, be based on that consensus of what the purchasing power of the United States is. What do you think might be going? Do you think that we might be going back to the gold standard XRP backed by gold ultimately? No, Brian, I don't think we're ever going to see XRP backed by gold. And let me show you why. And guys, this is a great question. So these are the kinds of questions I love, man. There's absolutely no bad questions here. It's so awesome when you guys just feed me stuff like this because it just gives me stuff I can rant on. So here we have XRP, right? And XRP, what I like to think of is infinite liquidity. XRP can scale to whatever liquidity is needed for the system. If we were to back XRP to gold, right? Let's just draw this out real quick. Sorry, I want to delete this last line, but it's not a big deal. All right, so if we were to back XRP to gold, I forget gold's market cap, but let's just say gold's market cap is 10 trillion. I think I'm close there, right? The market cap of XRP is then pegged to 10 trillion, right? So this infinity we had on XRP beforehand is now no longer infinity. It's now 10 trillion. That's a huge loss, right? Because then if we want to take the sovereign debt of the United States and say that's, as a random guess, 100 quadrillion and bring it on the XRP ledger, right? We could never do that because we just pegged XRP to 10 trillion. So it doesn't make any sense to one-way peg XRP. Instead, it makes a lot more sense to bring more and more assets onto the XRP ledger. Let's say real estate. Say that's 100 trillion. Say we have the stock market. Say that's 100 trillion. And then look, now XRP is backed by everything. XRP is just the liquidity to power all these different systems. So XRP really can be migrated into all of these different things. So I think the people who say XRP backed by gold are right in a sense. I just think it can be so much bigger than that. I think it's really limiting. I think it's very possible XRP has so many different asset classes incorporated into it, and just pegging it to gold cuts us off at such a low level. So, yeah, I think that's part of the equation. I just think there's so much more. There's so much more. And imagine as we have different currencies linked in, right? Imagine as we have dollar linked in, as we have money market funds. It just doesn't make sense to cap this infinity at anything because we would rather have it be able to go to infinity. The XRP ledger has a set supply of 100 billion XRP, and that number is decreasing. So the way you create more liquidity is you make the price of XRP to go up to scale up this infinity. Tokenize all the assets. I could not have said it better myself, Brian. Tokenize all the assets, bring them onto the XRP ledger, and then let's take a look at one of my favorite websites, XP Market, and take a look at how that works. If we tokenize the assets, right, then this list right here of these asset pools completely changes. Then you have, rather than XRP against USDC as the number one pool, you have XRP against gold. Let's go back over to the dollar chart, right? XRP against gold. That could be the number one. That'd be a $10 trillion liquidity pool. Then we go over to XRP against real estate, and we could have a liquidity pool over here, XRP against real estate. What you can see here is each one of these pools has XRP locked up. This XRP to USDC pool has 1.2 million XRP locked up. This XRP against BUSD has 827,000 XRP locked up. So the more assets we have, right, that are created on the XRP ledger, that's going to create more automated market maker pools of these assets, pair XRP against them, and ultimately that's what the automated market needs, right? The automated market maker needs more real world assets being used by institutions brought into it, so ultimately XRP can be paired against them to actually create that liquidity. So I don't think it makes sense to peg XRP to one specific asset. Instead, I think it makes a lot more sense to issue as many real world assets on the XRP ledger as possible, use XRP as the liquidity source to create liquidity between all those different assets, and essentially create a tokenized version of the financial system using XRP as a decentralized neutral liquidity. Ultimately, I think that's the vision. I think after all the David Schwartz interviews I've watched, combining them together with what Ripple is doing, automated market maker was a Ripple proposed amendment. What we know is they're doing different things with DID to allow institutions to incorporate with things like the automated market maker. I do think it's a long-term plan. And to me, right, this is the strategy that I believe makes the most sense in how you kind of tokenize assets on the XRP ledger and how you use XRP as liquidity. Thank you for breaking that down. I appreciate it very much. That sure answers a lot of questions. Brian, no problem, man. And that's why I always say, right, like never be afraid to ask any question on this channel. You know, I don't have to agree with the question for me to be able to still hit on some really important points that I think help a lot of people. Daniel said, damn, hold on, can't write that fast one more time. No, this is one of this video and this concept is something that I cover a lot on the channel. It's something people really appreciate because I think it really helps people see the long-term vision of the XRP ledger, right? There's no actual knowing how things are going to be used over the long run. Like, this is one of my favorite David Schwartz quotes ever, right? When the internet was first invented, no one predicted that the number one use case for the internet, or one of the biggest use cases, might be to stream movies all around the world so we can all watch our favorite TV shows, right? You know, that seems stupid at the time because there was already other ways to watch TV. So why would changing the way you watch TV be so significant? It created billion-dollar businesses, likely trillion-dollar businesses in the future. So as much as we can jump into exactly how we see XRP driving a lot of the value in the future, a lot of it's just speculation. A lot of it's very niche use cases that are probably a lot smaller than what will end up being used. I think here in the XRP community, we probably have a beat on some of the more utility side of things where cryptocurrency can be used. And we likely do have some of the stuff pretty close to how it's going to be used, but it's important to understand there's going to be a lot of things implemented that we just can't foresee. In the same way the internet had a lot of new things come up that no one predicted, I think we're going to see the same thing here. Also want to give a quick shout out to Vetman. I saw you popped in earlier today or earlier in the stream. Always great to have you. Guys, if you don't follow Vet, make sure to do so. I don't know if there's a better person for keeping track on what's going on the XRP ledger. He does lives all the time, breaking down some of the more complex topics in terms of things like automated market makers, lending, all the new features coming to the XRP ledger. And it's just a great resource. If you're one of the people who watches this channel who kind of constantly finds themselves having a hard time understanding some of the new tech and wants a better ability to just start easing your way into it. And even if it's not fully understanding the concepts all at once, right? Just to start digesting them. What a great follow, man. What a great follow. So make sure to go give Vet a follow. Super, super helpful. GK says, when is the case ending? And then I'll just answer this other question quick. Is Flare worth accumulating? I'll tell you guys right now, I'm accumulating Flare. You know, my favorite thing about Flare is you don't even really have to accumulate it with your own money. You just kind of buy Flare and then it compounds on itself. Flare is a very powerful thing. I do hold Flare. It's one of my favorite assets out there. And yeah, what was I going to talk about? When is the case ending? Okay, we'll jump into that. I know this is a question people always have, and it's important. It's important to keep people updated on the case. So we'll jump into that very quick. Let's see. XRP logarithmic chart. I always love to put XRP in the log chart. It just gives you such a better perspective on the price action. Whenever you have an asset that goes super parabolic with a short time history, it's really important to look at the logarithmic chart, because when you're on the linear chart, right, it just kind of doesn't really give you any sense of how far XRP came since these early days to where it is now. It kind of just looks like XRP just showed up out of nowhere, but you turn it over to the log chart and it really gives you a sense of this volatility. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, 52,000%. Case ending. That's what I was going to jump into. Un momento. Let me just check my phone real quick. Make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Making sure I don't have to run and quickly enter any trades. That's a new thing, guys. I used to be like so active in the market. I always used to be watching like, oh, what's happening with this stock? What's happening with this cryptocurrency, right? Like, what's my next move? And now I like have to quickly check in between live streams, in between like the next thing I'm doing. I'm like, oh shoot, did I miss anything important? Let me just do a quick news search. Let me do answer the question first, and then I'll do a quick news search. When is the case ending? I just love mapping this out on the XRP price chart. I think it's so fun. When is the Ripple SEC case ending? Well, first of all, let me just draw these random lines in the chart that mean absolutely nothing, but for some reason do mean something. Who knows why? We have this consolidation period, and if we zoom in, we know that the case is likely going to end by late August, September. So this, to me, is the last possible date the case ends, but it's really important to understand. Oh, that's a good one, Ed. Yeah, I will do that. It's really important to understand that the case can end anywhere in here, right? Starting today, the case can end. So anywhere from now up until here, we could see an end in the case. And I just think this is a cool chart that you guys can draw easily, right? If you want to know when the case is going to end, if you kind of want to watch things, all you have to do, right, is do XRP weekly time frame. TradingView is free, guys. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but TradingView is completely free. All you have to do is type in XRP USD, come to here to the Bitstamp chart specifically, go down to the bottom right-hand corner and hit logarithmic. This will make the chart a lot more chartable. Then you just come over here, do one line across the top, one line across the bottom, and that's going to give you a perfect time range from when we sit now to where the case should end. Ed, I love this question, man. Ed wants me to do a whiteboard on XRP. I'll do that for sure. That's a great question. I mean, whiteboard on Flare. Yeah, I talk so fast sometimes I forget what I'm saying. 200 likes on the stream, guys. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can get to 250. You guys blow it out of the water every single time. I appreciate you guys so much. OGs of the channel here, and you guys are absolutely incredible. And before I do the whiteboard on Flare, I'm going to give Silver Days a special shout. Guys, Silver Days does more than anyone for this channel in terms of reminding people to like the channel, to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it so much, Silver Days. You're an OG here, and just know that I really appreciate everything you do to help more and more people just do things to help promote the live stream, right? And it just goes back to the sense that we're all working together here. We all want to educate as many people on XRP as possible, and doing simple things like liking the stream, sharing it, subscribing, turning on bell notifications. These are all great ways to just help educate more people on XRP. All right. Oh, it's pouring here. It's pouring. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Here in the Northeast, we finally have trees on the leaves and it's finally warm again. So that's a beautiful thing. Ed wants me to whiteboard Flare. And that's going to be hard, but I'll just give it from my perspective. This is how I see Flare getting whiteboarded. And I'm going to do it from an XRP perspective. So you have XRP, right? You have XRP and you convert XRP to FXRP. For holding FXRP, you actually get Flare for holding FXRP. So let's just break this down real quick. You guys all have XRP. You can convert that to FXRP, and by holding FXRP, you get Flare. So right there, you get Flare. Now, by holding Flare, what do you get? You get more Flare, right? Because by holding Flare and delegating that Flare, you get more Flare. So right here, by converting XRP to FXRP, not only are you getting Flare for doing that, but then you're recompounding that Flare to get more Flare. What else do we have? Well, a lot of you also already have FLR. And what else do we have from that FLR? Well, we're already compounding that Flare by delegating it to make more Flare. So let's just see this real quick. To get more Flare. All right, so that's two different ways. That's three different earning potentials for Flare right there. That's three different earning potentials for Flare. Will that be through Bifrost? Ed, yes, that will be through Bifrost. So you can put your XRP in Bifrost, turn your FXRP into XRP. That FXRP will earn you Flare. That Flare will earn you more Flare as you delegate it. So here we go. We have Flare being earned from FXRP. We have Flare being earned from that Flare, and we have Flare being earned from that Flare. And like, it's important to understand, right? This Flare is infinitely compounding so long as this Flare. So this is really more. I think I would rather draw it like this, so it looks a little cleaner. Let me just clean this up real quick. I want to change the way I did this. Rather than doing like Flare to Flare, I think it's better if we do something like this. We have Flare recompounding into itself, right? Terrible arrow. Oh. All right, so we have Flare recompounding into itself. So we have our Flare that we already hold, that compounds into Flare, which compounds on itself, and then we have XRP to FXRP, which turns into Flare that compounds on itself. Now, let me show you how XRP being turned into FXRP is good for the Flare price, right? So now specifically, Ed, we are going to be focusing on this equation right here. XRP to FXRP. So if we have $10 in XRP, $10 in FXRP, that links to $10 in FXRP. So $10 in XRP to $10 in FXRP. So how does Flare get involved in this? Well, Flare actually collateralizes Flare actually collateralizes the 10 XRP. So for every 10 XRP brought over to create 10 FXRP, you're going to need $10 in Flare to post as collateral. And actually, it's more than that. I'm pretty sure, actually, and I'm sorry for being a little fuzzy on this, I'm pretty sure it's 2.5 times over collateralized. So I'm pretty sure this is $25 in Flare to collateralize the 10 FXRP. Now, this 25 FLR is essentially getting locked up to collateralize the 10 FXRP on the chain. That means the more and more XRP brought over to FXRP on the Flare network, the more Flare that is locked up, and therefore you can easily see if something crazy was to happen, right? Like rather than 10 FXRP getting brought over, if say 1 billion XRP got brought over and created 1 billion FXRP, then you could have massive amounts of Flare, 2.5 billion, getting locked up on chain. So, okay, awesome. It's 1.5% collateralized, not 2.5. So I really appreciate that. I haven't looked at the documentation in a while, so that kind of stuff, guys, I always appreciate. Regardless, it's not going to make a big difference in the calculation, right? So 1.5 billion Flare locked up by bringing over XRP to FXRP. So that's the whiteboard session there. Daniel, I really appreciate the donation, man. Daniel said a little something to get the whip washed and cleaned up for your next crypto car stream. Daniel, hopefully not anytime soon, man. Hopefully not anytime soon. No, I don't mean that. You know, if I'm ever on the road and I need to pump up a quick live stream, there could be another car live stream in the future. But man, Daniel, I really appreciate the donation. Really do. Longtime supporter of the channel. Daniel, thank you so much for all you do. You guys are absolutely incredible. And it's stuff like that, man, that makes it so exciting to do these live streams every single day. Just knowing your guys' appreciation for the channel means so much. So thank you for all you guys do to help support this channel. And I'm just so glad that you guys find so much value in it that you actually feel compelled to donate and do stuff like that. So thank you. Remove all 82 drawings. We'll go back to the XRP price chart real quick and then jump into some Q&A. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe how much time has already gone. 45 minutes. That's wild. I can't believe it. Thank you, XP Market, man. Can FXRP be turned back into XRP? Dave Nelson, it can. FXRP can be turned back into FXR. FXRP can be turned back into XRP. Yes, it can. Ed, just in a quick purpose, what is Flare's purpose to the role in crypto? Okay, so the purpose of the Flare to crypto, and I guess I should have explained this, right? XRP itself doesn't have smart contracts, right? XRP itself doesn't have smart contracts. What Flare allows you to do is turn XRP into FXRP, and FXRP can be used on the Flare network with smart contracts. So XRP turned into FXRP on the Flare protocol to give XRP smart contracts. So now FXRP has smart contracts. This XRP is locked up, so it gets hit on the circulating supply. Now you have demand for XRP on the FXRP side of things. And essentially, this allows you to use your XRP in DeFi you might not have been able to earlier. And then the best part about it is to secure this FXRP and make sure that the person providing you with the FXRP and holding your XRP doesn't lose it. It's over collateralized with 1.5 Flare for every XRP you go over. So say the person who is giving you FXRP and holding your XRP loses your XRP, so your XRP is gone. Oh no, the system's broken. No, this gets brought over. You get paid out in the Flare, and that's how Flare collateralizes the system. So it's a way to give XRP smart contracts on another chain, but also collateralize that bridge so that if anything does happen on the bridge, you're still paid out in the underlying Flare. William Whitmore, appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. And you're an OG to the channel as well. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Really appreciate it. Huge shout out to you. And I gave you that shout out earlier back when I was doing the car live streams and you would grind out a lot of the stuff in terms of price appreciation, in terms of big pieces of news. I always really appreciated that, William. Hooks are on a side chain right now. Ultimately, hooks could provide smart contracts to the XRP ledger. So some of this stuff will end up being repetitive, and I'll just say the best protocol will win, right? There's been a million different search engines created. There's been a million different add-ons. There's been a million different extensions. There's been a million different side features. There's all these different things, all right? And some things are repetitive. Some things do things differently. And ultimately, the best function is going to win. The function that provides users the most value is going to win out. So there's going to be a lot of different ways to provide smart contracts to the XRP ledger. Flare is one of my favorites. And at the end of the day, we're just speculating on which one of these protocols is going to win out. So hooks is another way to provide smart contracts to the XRP ledger. Flare is a way. There's likely going to be the EVM sidechain. And who knows, maybe we have a mix of all of these things working together to really make the XRP ledger an interoperable, powerful, programmable protocol. Oh. Let me check the news real quick, see if anything's going on there. Oh, this is cool. Let's jump into some X news real quick. We've covered a lot of market stuff today, a lot of whiteboards. Let's see what's going on in the market real quick. Okay, so guys, this is really cool. Alternate CPI updates still printing sub 2% when you pull it in real-time shelter. Puzzling or not on stickiness of BLS shelter, real-time data, Fed is actually on track and can afford to cut rates. Don't rule out a supply rate cut in July. So what this is doing is showing the difference between what the actual shelter numbers we're seeing in the real world are printing versus the shelter numbers the BIS and the labor statistics are pulling. And it actually shows that if you don't use the sticky labor statistics being used by the Fed, then you actually have inflation sub 2%. So this is just one of those examples of the Federal Reserve using data that makes the market look different than it is. You sub out some data, which can be done instantaneously, and you have inflation below 2%. And it's important to realize that this guy is not using some crazy numbers. He's using the real-time shelter data rather than lagging shelter data, which puts inflation a lot lower. So I'm going to drop this a retweet. Cool. I just said inflation is even lower with current data. Something else I saw earlier, I just dropped this retweet as well. Oh yeah, Tony from Thinking Crypto. This guy, Wiley Nickel, is actually a Democrat who's asking Gary Gensler to pull back SAB 121. Really cool to see this, guys. Like, look, I know a lot of people have different thoughts on politicians from one way or another, but to see actually Democrats going up against Gary Gensler, I think we can all agree it's very rare to see Democrats go against their own party, especially the people that they put in power. And the fact that he's willing to take a stand like this to actually push back on Gary Gensler and ask for some of this stuff to be repealed, I think it's a really good sign. It's powerful stuff. It shows that even the Democrats are unhappy with what Gary Gensler is doing. And the fact that he's actually going out and issuing public statements against him, guys, that is very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. And, you know, I think it gives Gary Gensler a lot of trouble, even if something crazy was to happen and this administration stays in power. The politicians in the Democratic Party are realizing that being anti-crypto is not a good stance. They are now seeing issues with Republican candidates. We're getting a lot of attention based on actually promoting God, I just lost my. All right, completely lost my train of thought, but I'm sure it's pretty obvious where I was going there. I read FinTech's comment and I just my brain was right back in inflation. Are you giving any consideration to shrinkflation as a strategy to avoid the perception of real inflation? Yeah, shrinkflation is definitely part of it. Fintech, what I want to make clear here is I'm not a believer that the market data isn't manipulated. Of course not. I'm fully aware that the market data is manipulated, but the Federal Reserve is crafting policy based on the manipulated data. And investment firms are investing based on the manipulated data. So when you're playing the investing game, you got to play the game that everyone else is playing because we don't control the markets. The big money controls the markets. The big money is investing based on the manipulated CPI data. So I try to say this all the time on the channel. If you're asking me what the real world inflation is, then I'm saying 7 to 8%, and the numbers are manipulated to look lower. But they manipulate the numbers to push their own policy. So they are manipulating the numbers to look low to push policy that they want to achieve. They want to achieve likely low interest rates because they're pushing that data down. So, I'm just investing based off the parameters I'm given. When I'm in the game, I've got to play the game. So that's really a lot of the statements I'm making. Awesome. I'm glad you agree there. A lot of people, I think, hear me talk about inflation coming down and assume that I think I'm not seeing inflation high in my real life. Guys, trust me, I go to the grocery store just like you. Everything's extremely expensive. It sucks. I feel it. But when I'm on this channel, right, I'm not running a living in the life of Mickle channel here, right? We cover investments, we cover the markets, we cover what's happening in terms of how it's going to affect cryptocurrencies, how institutions are going to move the market. So those are the kinds of things I hyper focus on here. So yeah, of course, I understand that inflation is way higher than these numbers report. But when we play the investing game, it's important that you can switch that hat over and understand that you got to play the game the big institutions are playing. Okay. I don't. Leslie, I think that's the name. Sorry. Really appreciate their donation. Hey, Mickle, when ODL/utility, etc. kicks in and the XRP price is high, do you think that XRP will decouple from bull and bear cycles and scale according to demand and therefore remain high? That's a great question. I want to pull up a chart for this. And I really appreciate the donation. Really appreciate the question. It's a great question. Look, I don't actually think we need to do much speculating here. I think what you're going to likely see, is big demand pumps like this, where XRP decouples, and then long periods of market noise where XRP goes back in line, before eventually you have the next period of severe utility causing the decoupling. And then as kind of that utility hits kind of a wall and you kind of have most of that market there, you have the XRP trading more in line with the market. And then out of nowhere, you have another big influx of utility, and then XRP goes back to market demand. So I think it's a mix of both. What we see in markets is typically in times of uncertainty, in times of slowness, in times where the technology isn't gaining a ton of adoption at front, we just see the market train together. And then instantaneously, once we have a big catalyst coming into the market, we have a decoupling event where utility causes large exponential increases in the price. So I think you generally are right here. I think we do have XRP decoupling, but I don't think it's permanently decoupled, right? It's always going to trade in some way or another in line with the market. But I think we have these decoupling phenomenons where utility rolls in and it essentially outweighs any kind of market factor. So I would say over the long term, the majority of XRP's history will trade in line with what the market is doing, but we'll see very short, very fast decoupling moments that causes XRP to go parabolic against the rest of the cryptocurrency market. And guys, that's to be expected. I mean, this is a chart we've talked about a lot on the channel. It's XRP to BTC. If we pull up XRP to BTC, we can see, right, that XRP constantly goes on these parabolic runs against the market. So XRP likes to move in that kind of way. Appreciate the donation a lot, though. It's a great question. It's one I get a lot on the channel, and it's really cool to be able to bring that in. Let's see, any more questions, guys? Let's go back to the news real quick, see if we can pull anything there. You know, it's always a little sketchy scrolling through my Twitter feed on live, but you know. Let's see what we got here. Anything interesting? I think those inflation numbers are interesting. That was one of the coolest things I've seen so far in the news. No, I don't buy GameStop, man. That's not my cup of tea. I'm all utility, no matter what market I'm investing into. I'm all utility. I'm boring. You know, I invest in what the future looks like. I'm not so much a gambler. Guys, my gambling, when it comes to NFL. Well, I'll start gambling when the football season starts, but you know, that's things I like to gamble on. Let's see. Okay. Check the For You page real quick. What are your thoughts on XDC being the first later on Songbird? Oh, very cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Crypto Clay. I appreciate that information. I don't have any thoughts at the moment, but it's exciting to see XDC getting interoperability with a lot of these markets. So at the moment, I don't have any massive thoughts on it just because I haven't had time to really think about it. Daniel. Let's watch that, man. Let's watch that. Oh, see you later, Crypto Clay, man. Nice having you. Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap it up anyway. I was doing one quick look through the news to see if we had anything interesting. But I think we covered a lot today. We'll do a member-only live stream tomorrow for sure. We'll get a member-only live stream going tomorrow. I want to really cover in depth some of these whiteboard sessions in the member only live stream. It seems like you guys are taking a lot of value from that. So I want to get one put together that I'm actually prepared for and that I can really jump into some stuff. Oh, that's funny, Crypto Clay. That layer one. Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. You guys are absolutely incredible. Like always, you provide so much value to these things, so I can't thank you guys enough. Every single one of you who comments throughout this live stream is really helping just create this environment here. I get comments all the time on the back end, and I want you guys to know this, how incredible you guys are in the chat, how incredible the mods are for helping people throughout this entire thing. You guys provide so much value to the viewers. You guys provide so much value in terms of your great questions that give me information to feed off of. I want to say this, like always, there are no bad questions here. There were so many great questions asked today that give me more things to hit on. And almost every single time I hear someone ask, hey, this might be a dumb question, but it is almost always an excellent question. So I want you guys to remember that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Look out for the video later. And for now, Mikkel out.